Welcome to Review the Light. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new MH12 by Nitecore, but really quick before we get into it, be sure to click this link right up here, right down here to follow me on YouTube if you haven't yet, and this one right up here to follow me on Facebook. That'll make sure you keep up to date with the latest reviews and videos, which of course is something I'm sure you'd love to do. If you're one of those people who are now wanting to comment and say that you don't want to do that and don't want to hear me say it, you can feel free to just mute that part, because I say it at the beginning of every video. Now the MH12 uses a Cree XML2 YouTube end emitter, as you can see, and it claims to get up to 1,000 lumens. I'm going to be testing that in my integrating sphere. If you want to see any of the specifications or anything, feel free to pause the video while I show you the box. I'm not going to read everything to you. I assume that most of you have basic reading skills and know how to hit the pause button if you want to. But that's what the box looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Alright, and included inside are, inside this baggie, we've got a lanyard, a grip ring, a clip is what they call that, replacement USB cover, and a couple replacement O-rings. Also, we have a USB cable, standard USB on one side, micro USB on the other, and it even has this fancy little Nightcore logo Velcro cable strap, which is kind of fun. A Nightcore holster. You can see here the Nightcore logo on the holster. It's just their standard holster here. You got the Velcro flap to cover the top, a loop here you can clip something onto on the back, a Velcro flap to attach the holster to something, or a sewn-in permanent flap to run a belt through if you like. And it also comes with the instruction manual, and the warranty card, and of course the flashlight, which is what you've all been waiting for, I'm sure. So we'll take a look. You can see the XML2 emitter down in there. If my camera will focus, there we go. You can also see it's set in a smooth reflector, and it's a fairly small reflector with a large emitter in it. So this is going to be a more floody light. It's going to get a decent throw just because it puts out so much light, but more of a floody light than a thrower. You can see the heat dissipation fins here at the head. These increase the surface area and help move heat out away from the emitter and the electronics and into the air. The greatest surface area helps that happen faster, which means your electronics and your emitter are going to last longer at those high temperatures that are created when you've got high outputs. Here you can see the place where the USB cable is going to plug in right there. It's covered by this little rubber flap. I'm always pretty skeptical of these little rubber flaps, no matter what manufacturers claim, so I don't really trust them to keep water out in the event of submersion or anything. It is nice to have the USB port covered up by something, though. It'll keep normal wear and dust and little bits of water and moisture out, so that'll be good, help it last longer. The switch, even though it says mode, this is the mode switch here. It controls the brightness of the light. You can see on the body the Nitecore logo, the MH12 model name there, a little bit of light knurling to add to the grip. Here at the tail, we've got your Nitecore N on the tail switch, set between these two raised places where you can attach the lanyard if you like. Because of the tail design, it will kind of do a tail stand, but it's not extremely stable, so that's an option if you need it, but don't rely on it to not get knocked over. We'll take a look on the inside now. You can see a spring there to make connection with the negative battery terminal. It does come with a battery, not this battery though. It comes with actually a 3200 milliamp hour battery. I grabbed the wrong one when I was getting ready for the video. It comes with a higher capacity battery than the one that you see in the video here, so don't get worried if you see the capacity listed on this battery. It comes apart at both the head and the tail. Here you can see Nitecore's mechanical reverse polarity protection. What that does is if you happen to insert the battery backwards, it's not going to make electrical connection, and it won't hurt the battery or the electronics, but it also won't turn on. That also means that you do need to use an 18650 battery that has a bit of a raised button top there to make connection and for the battery to work correctly. Can't use a flat top battery. If my camera will focus again, we'll take a look at those threads. I apologize for that, it's not focusing very well. Here in the rear they're a triangular cut, but they're still anodized and they're well greased, so I can anticipate them to last longer. I prefer to see a square cut, but the triangle cut isn't bad. So, I apologize for the discontinuity. I ran out of space on my memory card. We should be good to go now. As I was saying, the first thing I like to do when I put a battery in is to check the voltage. You do that by holding down on the mode switch and clicking the tail, and then it gives a series of blinks. So there was 4 blinks and then a pause, then 1 more blink, which means it's at 4.1 volts, and then the light turns on there. So you can at any time check the battery voltage by doing that sequence of holding down on the mode and then pressing the tail switch. It's good to keep up on where your battery voltage is, so you know when to recharge it. Next, when it is time to recharge it, you can use this USB cable that's included. You can plug it into any sort of USB wall adapter or a car adapter, or else port on a computer. And then it just plugs in pretty snugly right there. And to indicate that it's charging, you can see it turns blue. That blue light will turn off when it's done charging there. So I'll unplug it for now and put that back in. So to operate the MH12, you turn it on and off using the rear switch. You can press the switch halfway down and have it just be momentarily activated, and it'll turn back off as soon as you release. Or you can click the light into position, click the switch into position, and it'll stay on until you click it again. And it does have mode memory, so it just uses whatever mode you were using last. And once the light is on, you can cycle through the modes by clicking the mode switch. We've got ultra low, low, medium, high, then back to ultra low, and it'll just cycle through there. And as I said, say if I leave it in the low mode, I can turn it on and off in the low mode, or I can leave it in the high mode, turn it on and off in the high, whatever mode I like. So that's how you activate that. Let's see the strobe modes. You hold down for about a second, and you activate the strobe mode. If I hold down for another second, I go into the SOS mode. If I hold down for another second, I go into this beacon mode where it flashes once every couple seconds. Hold down again and I'm back to the strobe. And these flashing modes are memorized by the mode memory, so I can leave it in strobe and turn it on and off, and or any of those other flashing modes. So that is the operation of the Nitecore MH12. Stick around for just a second and we will take it outside and give it a shot in the dark. Alright, we've got the Nitecore MH12 out here in the dark. We're going to fire it up and give it a shot. So it looks like when I turned it on, we're in the minimum, the lowest mode here. So you can see it is on, but just not very bright. It's enough light for me to see the ground. I could walk around by it just fine without ruining my night vision, without drawing a lot of attention to myself. But it's not going to show up on the camera right now. So we'll go ahead and crank it up to the next mode. There's the low, the medium, the high. So I'll cycle through those for you a couple times. We've got the, just one more time, we've got the low, excuse me, the extra low, the low, the medium, and the high. So, looking around, plenty of light for me to see things nearby, off into the mid-range. The beam pattern, it has a discernible spot, but it's a very smooth transition out into the flood. So you can see that there. Colors, it's a slightly cool tint. I'd say somewhere in between cool and neutral. What you're seeing on the screen should match pretty well. Here's the strobe. That is the Nitecore MH12. So thanks for stopping by Review the Light, and if you have any more questions or want to see any details on the light, the runtime graphs, the beam shots, the spectral analysis, anything like that, make sure to click on the link that I'll put in the full review in the description. Thanks and have a great night.